Hey everyone, welcome back to the Girl of Gen Z podcast. I'm your host Clarissa, and today I have a special guest by the name of Nicole Zajac on the show. Nicole is an influencer from Winnipeg, Canada, and she promotes body positivity, health and wellness, and so much more on her social media platforms. Before we go ahead with the episode, if you could take 2 minutes of your time to give this video a thumbs up if you're watching it and listening to it on YouTube, and if you could give it a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast app if that's where you're listening to it, that would be very much appreciated. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well, and as always, the timestamps of the topics we cover in this episode will always be listed in the episode show notes below. Without further ado, let's get on into the episode. Hey Nicole, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. How are you holding up in this pandemic?
I'm thriving, I'm going to be honest. I think this pandemic, I manifested the pandemic.
Yeah, in
That
what
sounds
way?
so terrible, but I think everything that's happened since the pandemic has just benefited my life. I got out of debt. I don't know if are you from Canada?
I am, yes.
Like Justin Trudeau, thank you for the CERB payments because it got me out of debt. I probably wouldn't have made that much money like in regular work. And then just all these opportunities coming. It's you kind of I manifested getting paid to work from home and do Instagram, and that's what I'm doing now. So
That's amazing. Well, I
yeah,
can't say that the pandemic is amazing, but it's kind of a blessing and a curse, I would say. So I would
yeah,
agree with you on that part for sure.
yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Um, Honestly, not much for the first few weeks. It was super slow. I got I can't even tell you how many Netflix shows I ran through. But other than that, just pretty much on Instagram every day, seeing my friends secretly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. How about you?
I'm just keeping up with YouTube, podcast, also kind of seeing friends here and there, like social distance drinks
Yeah,
in the backyard
exactly.
and such. I feel like we've gotten over the most, I don't want to say the toughest hump because there is still quite a bit to go for this
Yeah,
pandemic, but I think things are starting to level out a little bit more.
yeah.
And I'm by no means super educated on every single thing that's going on and like what country and everything's the most affected.
Hmm.
But yeah, I have hopes for the future now,
I
I
do
can
too.
say. Yeah.
I do too. I just really hope this doesn't last super, super long because I'm getting really tired of being in Canada. I travel a lot, so I'm ready to go somewhere.
For sure, for sure. I took a look at your content and I can definitely tell you're like a travel bug.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's start with a little bit about you and your upbringing, where you live right now.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Um, I come from a great family. My parents have always been amazing to me. I went to a private school and a public school growing up. So I was I went to a private school initially. I think my parents thought that it would be better for my education and I guess for my behavior, but I ended up being bullied really bad. So I switched over to a public school and it was 10 times worse for bullying. So I'm okay, there's no winning here. But yeah, and then high school was amazing. I was on student council. I was really popular. And yeah, now I'm just living my life, not going to
So,
university or anything.
so may I ask, was it the same thing that you were bullied for from each school to school?
If I think about it now, I truly think it was a jealousy thing. Those when you're young, you see someone who's not necessarily maybe asking for all the attention, but they're constantly getting it. And I think from being in a public school, um, I was the pretty girl in public school that was I was smart and all this stuff, but I got bullied for it. And then because I was friends with the popular girls, but I guess they didn't like how the boys looked at me. I don't know. And then in public school, I was the new pretty girl. So
I
everyone was
see.
oh gosh. So yeah, and then yeah, it was just, I mean, it was tough growing up, but then you kind of realize once you get to high school, it all just goes away. I mean, it doesn't for everyone, but it's way different in high school than in elementary school.
For sure, for sure. I feel like just everything is different. It's like a switch when you go from
Yeah,
like I don't know how the schooling is where you are compared to like here in Toronto, but like from grade 8 to like grade 9 and then you're like, "Oh my God, this is like a whole new group of fish in the sea, like
yeah,
so different." Um the aroma's different, the experience is different, etc.
yeah.
But what I was going to ask was, what were you doing throughout high school? Do you have any hobbies? Were you on sports teams? Did you do any content creation then, or did you start a little bit later?
I think I was always pretty active on like social media. Um, I always had like a lot of followers, I guess you would say, because I was pretty popular in my city. Because I had a lot of friends. I was involved in a lot of like extracurricular. I was in like student council groups. I started my own volunteer group in high school. I played volleyball for a bit in high school. I played softball, like all growing up. So I knew a lot of people in the city. Um, but yeah, I didn't start content creating until I think it was 2017, really. Yeah, 2017.
Okay, okay. Did you watch any influencers or YouTubers when you were growing up, like when you're in elementary school and high school?
No, that's so weird though to think is because I never did. And then didn't even like consider myself an influencer until like this year, which is so weird to think. But I was like just posting and getting a lot of feedback and stuff. And then I never was like a YouTube girl. Like I never watched vlogs and stuff until this past year because I wanted to start vlogging. So I started to like follow all these girls and like other influencers who were vlogging just to see like, okay, like what kind of stuff are people actually interested in? And then you get like so invested in their lives, like you're waiting for their vlogs to come out and you're like, what are they doing today? It's not
Yeah.
even like super exciting. But yeah, so that's kind of when I started getting into like following other influencers, but I don't think I did when I was in like 2017, or maybe I did, but I didn't really know what an influencer was back then. I just thought they were like celebrities. I thought everyone was
Yeah.
a celebrity who had
I would
like,
definitely say the title was it's more used this past year and a half than any year
yeah,
prior. Like it was definitely not labeled what it was until now.
exactly, yeah.
And as for vlogs, I would say, yeah, it's like reality TV, but so much better. I feel like so much more connected and so much more
Yeah.
personable to the person that, and like you can comment in the comment section and like follow them on other social media platforms. And there's so many ways to connect as opposed to like watching the Kardashians and being like, well, all right,
Yeah.
let's wait for next week's Sunday episode. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah. So after high school, did you go to university?
I did for 2 years. I was just in like university one. I was trying to get into faculty of science because I wanted to be a doctor, and I was like, "This is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna make a bunch of money." Turns out, I hated all things science. Like I was good at science, but I hated it. So then, I was in university for like 2-ish years, and I dropped out in 2017. Maybe I was only in it for one. No, I was in it for a year and a half. And then I dropped out in 2017 after my boyfriend of like 5 years and I broke up, and I just like quit my job, dropped out of school, and just like restarted. I was like, I'm done. I
You
need to
hit the
like,
reset button.
yeah, I went through like my quarter life crisis and I was what, 20? Yeah, pretty much. So,
Wild. And did you not know though in high school when you were taking science courses, like were you like, oh, I like this, and then you went into it and it was not what you thought, and you're like, I don't like this anymore.
well, it's weird because I think of high school and I'm just like, this is so easy. Everything in high school, like education wise, was so easy. Like I studied barely and I got like 80s. I like got honor roll. So I was like, okay, how can this be hard if I go to university? Go to university. I was I remember getting my wisdom teeth out and missing two lectures of um, anatomy, and I was just like, I can't catch up. I can't catch up. This is like I felt like 4 months behind in one course. I was like, this is insane. So
And you feel
I
like you're drowning.
I was, yeah, and I was taking like a lot of courses. So I was like, I don't know if this is like for me. I don't really want to grind for it. And like I'm thinking, okay, like medicine, you probably go into like what I wanted to do was like 12 years. I'm like, I can't do this for 12 years. I'm out.
Yeah, you have to be in love with the profession and like keep visualizing like going through that tunnel vision, like the end of that tunnel, like your
Exactly.
end. Yeah, because that's a huge commitment in time and money.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you came to the realization pretty quick. Similar to my story too. Like I dropped out of university like one semester in, I was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. Like I had so many
Yeah.
breakdowns. I was like, I need to go to college. Like it's way more hands-on and I don't know why I chose university. Like I don't know if it was for the experience. I don't like, you know what I mean? There's such
Yeah.
a pressure when you're in that transition from high school to university
Exactly.
years, being like you need to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life at whatever, 18 years old, 17 years old. So,
Yeah. And I
um
had a lot of pressure from like my parents too, being like, well, you have to go to university and you
yeah,
have
I
to have
bet.
education. And I'm like, well, what? I don't know what I'm going to choose. Like, and so they're like, well, pick something. I'm like, okay, like, let's be a doctor. Like, those like generic things that you like when you're growing up. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. And it's like, okay, I'll pick this one.
Yeah.
Turns out it's super hard. So,
Did your parents go to university as well?
um, my mom didn't, but my dad did for a little bit. And I think like from growing up and them like probably having to work really hard to where they are today, um, like things are a lot different than they were back then. So they're probably looking at my life and being like, you need to like get an education so it's easier for you than it was for us.
Right.
Which I'm like, okay, fair, but I mean, I'm thriving now, so
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they're proud.
yeah, they are.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother and like a half sister.
Okay, and did they go to university as well?
My brother is younger than me, so he is doing like his electrical apprenticeship
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
So he's good and he likes it and everything. And then my sister, she's a little bit older than me. She I think she's like a financial broker or something. I think she went to school for a little bit for it, but yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide that you wanted to become an influencer?
Well, I don't think I ever decided that I wanted to become one, but I
You
think
never had like a aha moment. You were like, I'm gonna grind and take this full time.
I don't think until okay, I'll tell you my story on this. So in 2017, I got out of my relationship with my ex-boyfriend of like 5 years. I was like heartbroken. I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna find anyone else. Like it was my first like high school sweetheart, whatever. And then I like obviously like dated a few other people like here and there, saw some people, and then I got into this like I guess you would say like I haven't really talked about it, but like emotional and a little bit physical abusive relationship. And it turned out to like really fuck with me and my like how I portrayed myself. So I'm like, okay, like I was treated like this in my old relationship. I was treated like this. I'm like portrayed like this by men and like people in Winnipeg and society. And now I'm in this relationship where like I'm not being treated right. Maybe I need to like reflect on why. So broke up with that guy and ended up just like journaling on Instagram. This is so weird. It was like the most crazy thing that I had ever done. I just started like posting stuff and would take a photo and then write this long caption of like how I'm feeling in that day and like all this stuff. And it was so scary because I was like, no one's going to read this
Was it
or
public? It was a
it
public
was public.
page.
It was like a post on Instagram with
The
the
caption.
caption being my like journal entry, I guess. And it was so insane to see how many people like resonated with it and were like, wow, I feel like that too. And so I started to be like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm going to keep doing it. So I kept talking about like self love and body confidence. I just started being like raw. Like, I started being myself on Instagram because I feel like growing up, we post like a photo or whatever, and you put a filter on it, you pose a certain way, you Photoshop your body to look the way it is. And like, I wasn't like, I feel like people looked at my Instagram and were like, she looks like a bitch. I don't know. Like, when you like look at a girl and maybe they don't have like themselves, like their actual true like personalities
For sure.
posted online. So you're like, oh, I wonder what they're like. And you just like have this narrative of what you think they are. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change that and I'm going to post like, I'm going to be myself on Instagram. So I kind of started my platform from that. And I became like really popular in the city for doing these like rants. It was so fun. Okay. Like,
So what deemed you as popular? Like, did you have a newspaper start to come up to you and be like, "Wow, like you're really blowing up. Can we do a segment on you?" Or was it like your friends of friends of friends that started talking
yeah,
about
like
it?
I feel like just everyone in the city knew who I was. Like if I went out, they're like, "Oh my God, I follow you on Instagram." And I'm like, "Oh my God, really?" So it was
What's the
like,
population of Winnipeg? Do you know?
I have no idea. I think it's a little bit bigger. It's like bigger than Edmonton. Probably similar to like Calgary population.
Okay. I'm just
So
trying to get like an idea of like how this got so like you
yeah,
blew up in your town.
yeah, it was so weird. And then yeah, I was known for like ranting. So I would do topics on like I was working full time and doing this. So I'd look at my phone and be like, I'd go on Instagram and be like, "Hey, tonight I'm gonna talk about sex. Send me all the questions you want to know about sex, and I'll like talk about them." So it wasn't like I was educated on the topic, but I was talking about like stereotypes around sex or like stereotypes around cheating and all this stuff. And people would all tune in and like be like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," because no one talks about it so
It's very hush
openly.
hush or like
Yeah.
yeah, it's for a lot of people it's private. They don't want to know
Yeah,
your opinion or share their opinion, but like you'd be surprised to know how many people are like,
I
"No,
know.
like open it up. Like I want to know the can of worms."
I know. And I always thought, like, okay, there's these like things that we all think in our heads around sex or like around like, I don't know, hygiene, like stuff, but we'll never say it. It's like what I do to like prepare for sex. I will never talk to someone else about it. So I'm like, okay, let's start talking about it. So I'd hop on my Instagram and people would be like, holy shit, this
Was this
girl's
a
just.
live? Like would you do an Instagram live
No, I
or
would
would it
put it
just
on
be a
my
Q&A?
story.
Oh, okay.
Like they're all still saved on my Instagram in the highlights. Like you
Okay.
scroll through them and it's like sex rant, and you can like scroll through, and it was like 2 years ago of me just like talking in my room about like sex or
But
like
was it
talking
like questions? Like
period.
would people write in and then you would
Yeah,
answer them verbally or like physically like a video, like little
yeah.
video clips. Okay.
So I'd put like a question box like a few hours before it was going live, and then I'd scroll through them and like people would be like, "Can you touch on like the smell of vaginas?" And I'd be like, "Okay." And then I would like go off on it, and it was just like so crazy.
And people would
So
keep tuning in.
yeah, and they loved it. So, but then I stopped doing it because I was getting like bigger and I was getting a lot of like negative feedback from people because they were like, "You have no education on this. You shouldn't even be talking about it." I'm like, I'm not trying to educate people. I'm trying to just like talk about it so it's not like so stigmatized.
Yeah.
And so then I kind of stopped doing it. And then I started just posting more like body positive travel stuff because me and my new boyfriend met about we started dating about a year and a half ago, and he's a freelance videographer.
I've seen his stuff.
So
It's amazing.
I know he's incredible. So we like travel together and like make videos and all this stuff. So I started posting more about that, and then I recently blew up because of this like NHL scandal thing
Yeah,
that
I heard
happened.
a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was like on the news, and then I went on CBC national news, and I was like, okay, this is
How
going
did that
national.
go? Did they reach out to you and were like, "Can you hop
Yeah,
on this topic?"
yeah, so I did like every local news in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and then I did CBC National, and literally in 2 days I gained 35,000 followers, and I was just
So
like
what were
you
you
don't.
what was your following count before that?
I had like 20,000, yeah, 20,000,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So
wild.
I know it was crazy. So I'm like,
Was
okay,
it crazy
so
to wake up to that?
I mean, I didn't sleep. Like that's the thing. I would just like I couldn't really go on my phone because it gave me anxiety that I was getting like all these messages and stuff. But I would like check my phone. I was like averaging I think 500 followers an hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is happening right now. And then I had a lot of like imposter syndrome because I was like, I just blew up because this guy talked shit about me in a group chat,
Yeah.
and he lost his job, and I just like doubled my followers, and like I'm just like, so I had like imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't deserve this, this is like messed up and all this stuff. And then now I'm fine with it. I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'll take it.
What was your family's reactions to when you like blew up? Like we're getting the like 500 followers an hour. Were they like, holy crap, like this could go somewhere?
Yeah, my parents were super pumped. So I've been trying to like tell them that like if I just this is what I want to do for a living. I really want to like be a public figure and like help people, and I can make money this way. And they were not understanding. Okay, like they were like, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean? Like Instagram's gonna pay you? I'm like, no, 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 no. Other brands pay you.
Yeah.
But why? I'm like, because you're promoting their product. But like, what do you mean? I'm just like, I'm like a billboard. Okay, you pay me this put whatever on, and I'm like, it's I don't know. You just like build a community, and then they value your opinion. They're like, but how do you know 50,000 people? I'm like, I don't know them. And they're so confused about it. But
What's your
then
background, if I can ask that?
um
Like, are you
like
Portuguese, Polish?
oh, I'm like French, Ukrainian, I guess. But my parents
Okay.
are both like they're like they speak English. I don't know. I think I'm like a quarter Ukrainian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Just curious.
Yeah, yeah. But they were just like didn't understand. And so like now they're like following me on Instagram, and it's kind of weird because I like talk about some stuff that like maybe they shouldn't see. And they're like, "Oh, I watched your thing last night." I'm like, "Ooh, okay."
Well, it's part of your job. They have to start accepting, the platform you're on and the audience you have. And I'm sure a lot of your followers are like millennial
Yeah,
people, so exactly what you were saying earlier, like stuff that people don't talk about, you're going to talk about and people are going to listen. And
exactly.
it may not be topics that your parents per se would want to tune into, but they're going to because it's their daughter. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like you don't have to like it, but this is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm making the dough.
Exactly, yeah.
That's wild. So you started on Instagram then, and then you slowly converted to now making some YouTube videos I've seen.
Yeah, so I started, I think, in September. I think it was September or right before September. I made my like first vlog, and it was my like boyfriend had given me his like old video camera that he used to use, and was like, "Yeah, you can use this." And I hate it. Okay? Like I would rather vlog on my phone than a camera. But I don't know, maybe I just need to get a different camera because I
What
can't
kind of
see
camera is it?
myself. It's like a Sony A600 maybe or something.
Okay, the newer Sonys, I have the Sony A6400, or I shouldn't say I do. I borrowed my boyfriend's as well. The
Yeah.
newest one has a flip screen.
Okay, really? Okay.
Yes, yes, it's bomb. You should get that one.
Okay, maybe I'll get that one because this one like the screen kind of like popped out, but you can't like flip it to see
Yeah, so
yourself.
they just changed it.
Okay, so I like hated it. I'm like, I just don't even know where I'm looking. I don't know what I look like.
It's not
And it,
built for vloggers, it's built for photography, that one you're
yeah,
talking about.
exactly. So I kind of stopped vlogging because I was like, eh. And then when we traveled, I would get like my boyfriend to film us like doing shit, and yeah, it was fun. Like it was fun because you don't really like the one thing that really was hard is that you actually have to like capture everything, and I'm not thinking about like bringing
Oh,
my
that would
phone
have been
out.
a good, yeah, exactly. That would have
I'm
been a
just
good
like,
clip.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, like let's take in the moment, and then oh shoot, I have to vlog, so let's redo the moment. But then I started like I kind of want to start vlogging my daily life, and I have a really good phone. Like I have the like Pro Max 11 whatever. So and I know a lot of people vlog on their phones. So I'm like maybe I'll just vlog on my phone. I don't know. My life is pretty boring lately. Like I'm too busy to like on my laptop all day, and I'm just like there's nothing interesting going on here.
Yeah, it's like when the quarantine starts to be a little bit not as intense as it is. I would say when things start to like open back up and you can actually vlog out of your house and in your house,
Yeah.
you have like change of scenery. People will be more interested to view. But I agree, it's really you have to have a really creative mind for how you're gonna shoot a video indoors all day
Yeah.
and make it interesting.
Exactly. And I still like live with my parents. So it's already tough like
It's tricky.
Instagramming in the
Hmm.
house. Because I'm like, okay, I need a space that I'm like alone, that it's not gonna be interrupted. And now I'm like, I can't even vlog at my house because my whole family's home. So
Right, right. Are you in your kitchen right now? Like, where are you
yeah, I'm in
recording
my kitchen and I
this?
kicked my dad out into the living
Okay.
room.
So, do you have like a little office space in your bedroom? Like, where do you kind of do your work?
I literally plop myself down here every morning until 3 o'clock, and then my mom will come home, my brother will come home, my dog's going crazy, and I'm just like, okay, that's time to shut it down. So I try and wake up like around 8, start working by like 9, and then 9 to 3 ish, like answering emails and like maybe recording ads and stuff like that. And then I'll do like just my regular Instagram content whenever.
For sure, for sure. I liked your travel vlog with your boyfriend and your friend, and I don't know, was that her boyfriend?
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my friend Danica and Devin. So Devin is my boyfriend's like partner. So he's also a videographer, and then my friend Danica, she kind of does what I do.
Yeah.
Yes, in
Yeah.
Winnipeg.
It just I loved it because it was so like natural and I don't know. All the clips seemed very like candid and like
Yeah,
at the very end of the night when you guys are all in like the hot tub, like it was just this stuff that like everybody talks about but like doesn't think to record. And you guys
I
did
know.
do that. And I remember like watching it with my boyfriend and I was like, I love this girl. Like she's so just like genuine in herself. And
Yeah,
like you guys showed the behind the scenes of like how you were taking your photos and like trying to like help fix the techniques and stuff. Like it was just so raw and real. And I think so many people appreciate seeing that than like as opposed
yeah,
to the very stage like all right, now we're having lunch. Okay, this is our lunch. Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I wanted to make, because honestly, we have so much fun when we travel, and I wish I would have vlogged. I didn't even like, I brought my camera to Europe and I don't even think I pulled it out of my suitcase. But we were in Europe for like 4 weeks. So we went like everywhere.
But you took a
And
lot of photos, I'm assuming, like for your
yeah,
phone.
we took a lot of photos, but we were also with like 8 people.
It's a little
So it
trickier.
was a little hard. And I've never been to Europe. Like I've been to like tropical places a lot. So like vlogging, it was like fun, but I really wanted to like take in Europe and I didn't want to be like caught seeing it through a lens.
Right, right.
And yeah, it was just like tough to get everyone like wanting to be on camera because I like really respect like consent in that way. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna not. But I really wish I did because there were so many funny things that happened in Europe.
Well, now you know going forward, like
Yeah,
just try to have them kind of out of the frame and then continue on with you and your partner, whoever you're with.
yeah, exactly. I wish I could just like tape a GoPro to my head.
Oh, that'd be sick. And you'd get everything freaking candid.
Exactly.
So I guess the next kind of topic I want to talk about because I feel like it's something that influencers unless they have like a YouTube channel, maybe they don't make like a dedicated video to people who kind of have these questions and
Hmm.
it's about like sponsorships and like affiliate links and such.
Hmm.
So how did you like do how do you get like brand deals and do you have like a management team that goes about
Hmm.
that for you? Do you reach out? Does the company reach out?
So before, I think it was not growing up, but like starting from the bottom of growing my page when I had maybe like 6,000 followers. I was reaching out to companies by myself, and this was like right when it started. And I was making still like decent money. I think I was making, I don't know, like, I mean, decent money that I thought it was like $75 for one post in a story or something. And you'd
One
still get
post on your page and a
yeah,
story? Okay.
yes. And like I thought that was great for like 6,000 followers. So I'm like, okay, this is perfect. And then I remember quitting my job. I worked at a car dealership and I was like, I'm getting so many brand deals. Like I'm growing. I think I got to like, yeah, 8,000 followers. And I was like, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. Idiot. Like, what am I thinking? So I quit my job and I didn't work from like March until October. Broke. Talk about broke, okay? Like, as soon as I quit, it was like every single brand deal that I tried to get, they were like, oh, we don't have a budget for that, but we'll send you free product. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm not making any money. So I had to go back to like serving in October. Luckily, I had like a bunch saved up that I could like live from
Yeah.
March until October. But I went back to like serving because it's, you can like still do Instagram during the day and then just work at night. And I was
Yeah,
making good
fast cash
money.
too.
Yeah, super fast cash. And
I'm
I
a
have like,
bartender, so I totally get the whole
it's
like
like you have
it's
if you have a
flexible.
personality to serve, it's like you'll make good money. So that's kind of what I did. And then it wasn't until around, um, I actually just recently got signed to a company, or like a talent agency. So I think, do you know the bird's papaya?
No.
Okay, so she's like an online friend of mine. She has like 1 million followers,
Wow.
and she's in the same like niche, I guess, as me, like body positive ish, self love. And she like shouted me out on Instagram. And when I got to like 20,000 followers, I guess her management team had like recognized me, and they're like, oh, like let's chat. So I did like a 30-day trial with them, and they're like, we love you, like we want to sign you. So now I'm signed with Shine Influencers, and they manage all of my collaborations. So if anyone like reaches out to me, I'll just send it to them and they negotiate on my behalf, and then they pitch me to brands.
Gotcha. And do they take a percentage, I'm assuming?
Yeah, they take a percentage, but
Okay.
I'm making a lot more money than I guess than I would have if I was alone. Like I would have never been able to like pitch to a company and say, okay, I need X amount of dollars for this. They'd be like, no. But like I guess it's easier when you're backed up by an agent.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah,
established. Like they're with some other like bigger influencers as well, aren't they? That they have signed with
yeah,
them. So I
yeah,
feel like that makes them credible, I want to say is the word I want to use. So
yeah,
it makes brands want to say like, oh, okay, well, so and so and so and so are signed with them, so she must be awesome too. So for sure,
yeah.
like let's work something out.
Yeah, they're amazing. They've helped me so much. Like they were there like helping me and briefing me for like all of my news interviews and everything. I was like, I would never have been able to do this without you guys.
That's
But
awesome. So how did the 30-day free trial thing go? Like did you kind of just get a gist of what they stood for, like how they would help run your page with you? Like how did that go?
yeah, so they pretty much said like it's different being managed because you don't really get to see all the ins and outs of negotiating rather than like me seeing.
Yourself.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, how did it go? It was pretty much like they were going to pitch me to a few brands, and then any brands that reached out to me, I would send to them, and they would just like see how collaborations went in those 30 days and see if we were a good fit for each other. And then I think like I didn't even hit the end of the 30 days, and they're like, here's a contract. And I'm like, okay.
Wow. So do you have to sign for like a year or 2
Yeah,
years or how is that run?
I just signed for a year.
Okay. And then do
Yeah,
you like renegotiate your terms after that or like I
yeah, I
guess you
think
haven't hit
so.
that spot yet, so you're not sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
that's
But
awesome.
it's definitely like a lot easier with them because I couldn't even imagine like doing it
Doing it all
all by
yourself.
myself now. Like I knew it was a lot of work back when I had like 20,000 followers, but now it's like I'm getting a lot more outreach and stuff, so it's a blessing.
So would you say um you get a lot of the emails, then you have to forward them to your brand manager, or do they just go straight to your brand manager? Like, do you get a
She
lot of stuff through DMs or through email or
I
both?
get both. I have like my manager's email in my bio,
Yeah,
so people can like reach out to her through there, and then anything I just forward it to her and she takes care of it.
gotcha, gotcha. And how many would you say like brand opportunities you get coming your way a day?
Oh, I don't even
You
know.
can't even count.
No, like I would say I get like I don't even know because I don't know on her end what she gets.
Do you know what it was like before you signed with them? Like kind of the
Oh
in
yeah.
between stage, like when you said it
Yeah.
was a lot of work to kind of be
Um
answering things on your own?
I would get a lot, but I feel like a lot of them were just like, "Oh, we'll send you free product." I'm like, "No, I'm worth more than that." Like
Yeah.
I no longer accepted free product because I'm like I know my like return is high. So, I don't know. I think I would get like around 15 new ones a week.
That's pretty good. Because then I
Yeah.
feel like you have a good amount to choose from. Because obviously you're not going to say yes to all of them, and you're going to negotiate the ones that are make sense more long term.
Yeah, exactly. And I really do only work with brands that I love right now. Like back when I had like 6,000 followers, like anyone would reach out to me and I'm like, yep, yep. And I would always be like, this is an amazing product. And I've tried it like once. I'm like, okay, I suck. Like I need to stop being like a walking ad.
Yeah.
So now I only do collabs with people and like brands that I really genuinely like. And if I don't like them, then I will just like blatantly say to the company, like, I'm not going to post this. You can have your
Right.
money back.
That's awesome that you can, like, you're at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just wouldn't ever want to like stray my followers to like buy something that didn't work or that they didn't like.
Right, right. So do you use affiliate links as well? Like, do you use Like to Know It? Like, I know it's a huge fashion one, or like Amazon links or Lululemon. Like, are you still stayed with any of those ones?
Um, I don't use any, or I don't have any affiliate links other than like here in Winnipeg. I have like a Browse by G affiliate link,
What's that? What's Browse
and
by G?
it's like a microblading place. So that's where I get my
Oh, okay.
eyebrows done. And I have some with like Fitglow Beauty. Um, yeah, I can't even remember right now. I need to honestly make a list of like links because I always forget. And then I'm like, oh, I have a link for that. I should share it. I always
For
share stuff
sure.
without like showing my link. And then I'm like, oh man, people can like save money. I need to attach it.
And you're just excited and you forget.
Yeah, I'm
That's so
excited.
funny. So what helps you decide whether something is a good brand deal or not a good brand deal?
Well, I do like take pride in how much time I put into making like my content organic because I know a lot of people who do ads and it's just like totally staged. And I just want to make sure that like my followers know that I'm not selling them like something that I don't love. So if I've usually like brand deals that I really, really love, I've already been using and bought it myself. So, like, let's say I did an ad for like Bali Body because I use it like every week, then my followers really would like, okay, like if she has a code for it, then like we're definitely gonna buy. We've seen her post about it 1,000 times. But if I don't use like a product ever and it just like comes out of nowhere and they're asking me to do a bunch of stuff that I'm like not comfortable with or like post before I get the product, then I'm like, no. So yeah, I think I just like really have to try the product first. So I don't usually like if I get like an order of something that's for a collaboration, I'll try it out for like a month and really like form my opinion on it, and then I'll decide if I'm going to post it.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you have any like long lasting or long term brand deals you've done, like someone you've worked with for a long period of time, um, that you've like built a good relationship with and you'd continue working with?
Yeah. A lot of them are Winnipeg based again. So
That's fine.
Brows by G and like Brow Lux. So they sell like brow pencils, and they do like lash lifts, lash tints, hennas, microblading, all that stuff. I've been going to them for like over a year, I think, and I love them to death. And then who else? Like where I get my lip injections done. Um, Her name's Minty, and I have like an affiliate code with her, so you can save like $50 on like your filler. And yeah, it's like pretty good deal. I have a lot in Winnipeg, like sugaring companies, all that stuff.
That's awesome. So what are your brand contracts like? I know you can't go into too many details because of legal reasons and such, but is there like a media kit they require? Do they say, can we have a story, a post, and a YouTube video, or can you talk about it for 30 seconds? Like, what do you find is usually the ballpark of items asked from them?
Um, I don't really know because I just like sign the contracts and my manager just will send me like what I'm supposed to be like posting for them. So if it's like a feed post and a story or whatever. But typically it's usually just like a story with how many frames, however many frames it takes to get the point across, and then a post pretty much. And then
So
I
it comes like
always
as a
have
pairing,
yeah,
post and story. Okay.
unless they just want a story, because posts don't get as much engagement as a story because it's just like not as organic, I feel.
Right.
But and it's easier in stories because you have like the swipe up link, so it's easy for them to like
Track and
your
stuff.
followers, yeah, to get stuff, yeah, to get like a link out of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
What is your dream company that you want to work with?
Oh wow. Um, Honestly, I think it would be like either, and I've kind of already worked with them a little bit. So like Nixwear, I've
Okay, yeah,
already
yeah.
like worked with Nixwear a little. They sent me some stuff for their like lace leak proof line, but I didn't get paid for it. It was just like a in kind collaboration, and so I'd love to like work with them again and like have a long term relationship with them, and probably something like athletic wear, like Lululemon maybe, or a travel brand. So like having like say like I had a collaboration with like Air Canada because I use Air Canada a lot, and like WestJet.
That'd
So
be awesome.
yeah,
Have you had any like brand trips yet?
I have with my boyfriend. We do a bunch with like our other friends, Devin and Danny. So
Okay.
we'll like go to like hotels and do like video for their hotels and then post about it all over our social media. And then, yeah.
That's awesome. So, do you have to post as well as Danny? Like, does everyone have to kind of post about it, or is
Yeah.
it you just okay?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because
So,
like
do you
back when we were doing it, we all kind of had around the same amount of followers,
right?
like roughly like 10 to 20,000. So it was like fair all across the board. I think now, like if I was to reach out to brands, I would definitely make them pay us more if we were traveling because um, yeah, and it just like I think everyone has around 10,000 to 20,000 now.
So, at the time when you were doing like the hotel stays, were you with Shine influencers or no?
No, I actually just signed with them like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow, so super super recent.
Yeah, like maybe longer than 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Yeah.
But definitely like your trip was not in the same alignment of time frame.
Yeah, exactly. We were supposed to
So,
be in Bali during this like
oh,
pandemic. I
I hope
was
you got
like,
a credit or you're able to reschedule at some point.
yeah, we got our money back, but I'm like sad because like if traveling opens up again, hopefully in the fall, it's like rainy season in Bali. So
Oh,
like we'd have to wait until um
a little bit
like
later.
spring again, yeah.
Right. So when you did the hotel stay, did you reach out to them and say, "Hey, like we all have Instagram pages. We love to travel and take photography and videos, et cetera, et cetera." And like, how did you work out that kind of deal with them?
It was mostly Devin that was reaching out to brands because he had worked with a bunch of them before.
Oh, cool.
But um yeah, it was honestly like it's different when you're like an influencer and you're reaching out to a brand and you're just saying like, "Hey, I have a lot of followers. Like, let me come stay at your hotel and I'll post about it." What we were doing is like my boyfriend and Danny, like Brett and Devin both like can provide something for the company. So whether it be like redoing their website photos or like making videos because they do like real estate shoots here. So that would kind of be like our form of here's what we can offer you. What can you offer us in return? And most of the time they would be like, okay, that's a great deal. But and then a lot of the other times they were like, no, like you don't have 100,000 followers. And we're like, okay, but we're not asking just to stay at your hotel for free. We're giving you like stuff that you can use for your media and like your website and stuff. So
Yeah, and it's not like their stuff is out of date. Like the content your boyfriend and his partner produces is like
yeah,
very movie like, like the drone shots, very cinematic. Like,
yeah,
people would
exactly.
hire someone freelance like that for a lot of money. So it's like the fact that you're like, okay, we stay for free however many days, but then you get a full like fledged short film or whatever,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
advertising that you didn't even have to, go pay someone else to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they would be dumb not to take it, but a lot of them didn't. So yeah,
Well, I'm sure they'll live and learn and they'll see your pages grow and be like, oh,
Yeah,
darn, we really made,
exactly.
maybe we'll reach back out. Like, that's crazy. So I guess pushing off the traveling topic and Brandy else for a little bit, what pushed you in the direction of associating, I guess, your whole Instagram page now as so like body positivity?
Um, Honestly, I think it was probably just like my own insecurities. So I pushed like myself to be vulnerable and post about them because I know a lot of people looked to my page for like truth or like honesty. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be like that person that you can connect with in the way that if you're not alone, almost posting stuff like, yes, I have like these insecurities, and it felt good for me to see people saying like, oh, I have the same ones. So it made me feel less alone, and I think it makes other people feel less alone, and it really like encourages people to like come out of their shell and not be so like insecure about their bodies and just the way they look, because everyone is insecure about something, right?
For sure, for sure. Um, what was I gonna say? Okay, so on that note, what is your opinion on stores like Brandy Melville, for example, that is one size fits all? I know recently they changed it to like
Mm.
one size fits most. What do you think?
I've never shopped at Brandy Melville because I never fit in their clothes. So
So I guess that just goes to show
that
then,
just
like,
goes to show. I'm like, yeah. It's same with like Aritzia too. I've really noticed that. Like I'm trying to
yeah,
like find, well, I mean, no, sometimes they have my size. Like I'm still pretty small. I'm still a pretty small person, so I'm like I can fit in most stuff, but I do think it's super important for brands to become like more inclusive in sizing, because you're just gonna get like torn apart on the internet for it.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I know that I think it's Girlfriend Collective. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're activewear. Their like size range is like extra, extra, extra small. It's like extra, like 6XL long. I don't even know, but
Oh,
something
really?
crazy. Yeah. And like their models, another influencer I follow, she posted yesterday of like someone that's like a senior in her 60s or 70s. And she was like this little fit granny. And she was in one of their sets. And she like took a photo and put on like a screenshot. And she put on her story and was like, I love that this company puts like any type of woman on this page, and it's like huge body positivity, and like the size range is unbelievable. I've never tried their product, and it is a little
Yeah.
bit more expensive, but it's nice to see brands being able to do that. I feel like Brandy Melville almost has it backwards at this point with
Yeah,
the one
exactly.
size fits most. I remember Trisha Paytas, I'm sure you know who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, posted, I think it was definitely a few years ago, more than that. Like I tried Brandy Melville shorts or something, and like I got fat shamed and said I couldn't shop there anymore. I was gonna stretch their clothes or something like ridiculous like that. And it was just like
Really?
a crazy video. Yeah, yeah, I had millions of views, and like that really triggered when the whole body positivity started coming out, because I was like, I don't even know how their store still exists then if like they're getting
Well,
so
I
much
think
backlash.
I think ugh, yeah, I don't know either. I think it really like comes from the younger generation, because they I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm offending them, but
Yeah,
like they're all tiny. And they all just
yeah,
like they still all have this like thing ingrained in their head that they have to be a size 0 and all that stuff, and they're not even like hitting puberty.
yeah. I
So
think
like
I
they
think
can
the
all
brand
fit.
started in California, I want to say, and like all the girls are very like,
Yeah.
I'm speaking very generally. I'm sure there's curvy girls there too, obviously,
Yeah.
but their build was very like 000 petite,
Yeah.
etc. So their denim shorts were fitting those people. Their like
Yeah.
t-shirt dresses were fitting those type of people.
Which is totally fine. Like you're allowed to be like skinny and tiny, but at the same time a brand should like be able to cater to all bodies instead of catering to just one size, because you look at like how am I trying to explain it? Like sometimes I look online to like shop for like mom jeans, and I'm like so like I just did this. So I was like so cute. This person looks so great in these. And then I'm like, okay, I'm typically this size, so I'll order it and it looks totally whack on me. And I'm just like, okay, they need to like cater to a curvier size, or like
Yeah.
someone who doesn't have just the standard small waist, big hips, skinny legs. Like what if
Yeah.
someone has like a bigger waist with bigger legs and a bigger hips. You know, like you need to make the sizing for everyone and not just like this exact. I feel like a lot of brands are like
This
taking like,
mold.
yeah, a mold, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I found denim is definitely a trickier item to perfect
It
because
is.
of
Yeah.
exactly what we were just talking about, like the molds, the like it's almost like they need for certain brands that are really big with jeans, like Levi's, for example, they would have like the same style, but in a version for a curvy girl or a version
Mm-hmm.
for petite or a version for tall, kind of like how Topshop did a petite section and a tall section.
Yeah.
Like I always found they had so much petite stuff in their section, but I am on the taller side. Like I'm like 5'7", 5'8", and that's not
Yeah.
even that tall. Like there are girls that are taller out there. And like I found that I was struggling in the sense that the petite section had so much more. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, why aren't there more, t-shirt dresses that don't look like mini dresses for the tall girls? Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Why can't it fit properly?
Exactly. They should have like the exact same styles for both sections.
Yes, you literally just finished my train of thought. That's how
Yeah.
we got on this topic. I was like the jeans, you have your cult favorites like the Jamie, the Joni, etc., but they have it
Yes.
for curvy, for petite, for tall.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I guess off that topic, what are some of your favorite influencers?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I love the Bird's Papaya. Like she is my spirit animal. You need to check her out because you said that you didn't know who she was.
I'll definitely check her out after this.
Yeah, her name's Sarah Nicole. Sarah Nicole Landry. I think that's her last name. She's amazing. She is like 30 something years old and her like story is just like amazing
Incredible.
and all of her content is like incredible. Um, Another person I've been following for years is Mick Zazon. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. I do actually, because she
Yeah,
was partnered with, I think, an athletic company I was following, and that's how
probably
I found
Balance
her.
Athletica.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so she's awesome. I know that my friend Devin like went and shot one of the retreats she was in and
That's so awesome. It's such a small world.
I know. And then I remember him
Because she's
going
not
there.
Canadian. Is she Canadian?
No, she's American. And I remember him like going to Bali to shoot it and I was like, there's no fucking way you're with Nick right now. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been following her for years. And then like now, like me and Mick like text or whatever. So it's like such a small world because we follow each other now and it's just amazing. Who else do I love? Do you know? I don't know if she's like much of an influencer, but her posts are really good. Is the Fat Sex Therapist?
No.
She posts really good stuff. Who else do I love? Who's that girl? I forget her name. Her name's Ariel. She's like Love Island host.
I feel like I can picture the face
She's
because
like
I've seen
so
her trending like on like Instagram and stuff before.
yeah, she's super funny. She's hilarious. Not necessarily like my niche or anything, but she's like
Yeah, just
funny about it.
entertaining.
And then like I guess some of my favorite like vloggers would be um, Jessica Howell. Do you follow her
Hmm.
or know who that is? Yeah, and obviously David Dobrik. Love him.
Oh my God. If you don't love him, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
I know he's so awesome. But yeah, that's really all I have. I mean, I have a bunch more, but it would take me forever to
Yeah,
list
the
them.
list would go on and on. It's crazy that you could go from, really looking up someone like Mick and following her for years to now being on like a friendly friend basis. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah, it's
that's so
crazy.
cool that you can meet through social media and such nowadays and like
I know.
create friendships over it.
And I think it's amazing too because I mean, I never really like thought of anything like that happening with like a celebrity, but I really looked up to a lot of these people like years ago when I was like, oh my God, they're like a celebrity. And then now to like see that they're commenting on my stuff and that they're like reposting my stuff and texting me and messaging me, I'm like, oh my God, this is insane.
Wild,
Yeah,
wild. I know.
crazy.
That is wild. What was I gonna say? What are, I guess, some future projects that you have coming up or on the go? I know you probably can't say too much if you do, but
I have a few like exciting collaborations coming up in June, and I think like what I really, really can't wait for is my dog's going to the window. He might bark. um, I just can't wait to travel again because I think I'm going to start vlogging more, and my boyfriend and I will probably make some sort of great short film or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really have many plans because
Yeah, the whole
everything's
situation.
shut down in the world. So yeah.
Well, it will look up eventually.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it.
exactly.
Especially for like influencers and stuff. I feel like once things start to open back up, things will start to
Yeah.
again level out and be more okay again.
Yeah.
So I guess for the last question I have for you then that I usually end off on all my episodes is, are you happy with the direction of life that you're currently going towards or the path you've taken thus far? Yeah.
Absolutely. I am like so okay. So if you asked me this like 2 months ago, I would be like, I am so sad. Like, we are all in lockdown. I had to cancel my Bali trip. I have like no job. I'm in debt, whatever. Now I'm like, I pretty much don't have to go back to work because I'm making Instagram my full time job. I'm
When
like,
you talk
it's
about work, you
summer.
mean serving, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
serving. And then it's like summer, so it's nice, and like we get to go out to like the cabin, even if we can't like see all of our friends and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, like every aspect of my life is pretty amazing right now. How about you?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. This time has really given me the time to be able to be a little bit more creative with content and
Mm,
be more consistent, I would say, and be able to have more time to reach out for podcast guests because it's a little bit tricky sometimes, especially with people who are like very, very, very large. They don't want to
yeah.
give their time and not be compensated, which I understand. Like when you're at that
Hmm.
level, you're obviously going to take a paid opportunity over a non-paid one, unless you have some personal relation with the
Hmm.
person. So just having the time to kind of delve into the interweb and like find some more people to interview has been nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, the weather's warming up here too, so it's obviously nice to be able to like. I'm not a huge outdoors person, but I've definitely learned to become more of one these past
Yeah.
couple of years, like going for more walks outside, like just spending more time outdoors, like bike
Hmm.
riding, etc. So yeah, I would say about the
Awesome.
same. Pretty happy with how everything's going.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think everything will be like decently back to normal in a few months. Not normal, but like
Yeah, people will be
mm,
wearing masks. There'll be plexiglass in every store, but at least you'll be able to like go to the store and like dress
exactly.
up to go somewhere.
Exactly.
Do you have a cute little mask yet?
I do. I have like so many because my boyfriend's been like shooting for a bunch of like not a bunch, but like a few mask companies. So he gets like all their like prototypes and stuff.
And he's like,
So I
here,
have a
try these on.
bunch. I have a bunch and yeah, but it's weird because sometimes you can't wear them anywhere. Like I'm going for a haircut after this and I'm not able to bring my own mask.
Like they have to provide it?
Yeah, they have to provide it.
Oh yeah, because I went to the LCBO, like the liquor store yesterday, and they were like, okay, so we just need to ID you. And I was like, okay. And they're like, so you have to take off your mask. And I was like, oh, right. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah,
But then I was
so
like, so I guess I shouldn't be wearing it to the store? Like, I don't know. Do you just run into the situation where you can't wear it sometimes?
I know, and I just find it like it. I don't know. I'm not educated on it enough, but I don't ever really wear one out because I don't see a point in it. But
It's just
there's also a
tricky.
lot. Yeah, there's also a lot less cases here
Right, right.
than there is in Ontario. So
Yes, very true.
yeah.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to add to this episode?
No, I don't think so.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on The Girl of Gen Z and share
Thank you.
your tips and a little bit about what you've been doing in this time.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
And there you guys have it. All of Nicole's social media handles will be in the episode summary. And thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys in the next episode.